So, you're ready for your check ride. That's awesome. Yes! Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. A check ride is literally just a refresher before you go for your license assessment. Not gonna lie though, I was sort of crapping my dacks. But I'm here to put your mind at ease. It's not as scary as it sounds. The instructors are there literally to give you a refresher course on those 2 massive days where you just had information overload. Bam, 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 bam. And just to sharpen up your roadcraft and your confidence. So what do you need to bring when you go for a check ride? Yourself. And on your beautiful self, you will need to be wearing the appropriate gear, so appropriate pants. What does appropriate mean? Not booty shorts, that's for sure. Something that comes all the way down to your ankles and not ripped jeans or anything like that. Cargo pants, probably not. Something that's not too loose that it's gonna get caught on the pegs or whatever dingle dangly bits are hanging down there. And also not leggings. If you don't have riding pants, that's cool. As long as you have a good pair of jeans or something of the sort, comfortable to move around in, you get to go. Jacket. Again, if you haven't gotten around to buying a proper motorbike jacket, that's cool. As long as it's something that covers your arms all the way down to your wrists and like not over your wrists so that it like gets in the way of the throttle and the brakes and clutch and all that, that's totally fine. A little tip for the hoodie wearers, probably don't wear one that has the little hangy bits. Because when you're going down the highway, they sort of like flick around everywhere and hit your helmet and it sort of sounds like Morse code tapping away on your helmet. 0 out of 10, would not recommend. Shoes. If you haven't had the money to go and buy proper riding boots or shoes or whatever, again, that's totally fine. As long as your shoes don't have laces flapping about in the wind, that's okay. Also, Vans, probably not a great idea. Something that's not gonna fly off your feet, pretty much. So like maybe those Velcro bootstrappy shoes. I have no idea what they're called. They're the Velcro ones. Or just some nice, sturdy boots. It really depends on your instructor that you get, but the instructor that I got, he said that we could wear laced shoes as long as the laces were tucked inside the shoe and not going to like get caught on any levers or parts of the bike down low. But I probably wouldn't risk it. Definitely invest in a nice pair of shoes before you go. Helmet. This is optional. It really depends on where you're going for your check ride. A lot of places, they provide the helmet and the bike if you don't have one yet. But I would say if you're going for your check ride, you should probably invest in one so you can practice. Gloves. Again, depends where you go, but sometimes gloves are provided, but it's always best to have your own. Also, same with the bike. Usually training centers will provide a bike for you to do your check ride on if you don't have one yet, and that's totally fine because bikes can be sort of expensive. But a little tip, if you're sort of strapped for cash, have a look at gear and bikes and stuff in the winter, in the off season when other people are selling their stuff. You can find some pretty cheap things on Marketplace. A lot of the bike places drop their prices during winter, so you're welcome. If you're bringing your own bike, you'll want to make sure that you have your L plate fastened securely. Story time. I didn't realize I was missing an L plate until I got back home after a ride. I sort of just ripped off the number plate in the wind. So a good idea is maybe fastening it on with a bolt, because sticky tape didn't do shit for my L plate. It was just like, bye! And don't forget your learner's permit, because when you get there, you'll have to fill out all your paperwork and you need your license number. They also need to photocopy it as well, so definitely do not forget that. And if you're a bespectacled beauty like myself, I wouldn't call myself a beauty, but if you're a bespectacled human being like me, don't forget your seeing apparatuses, because they will make you do a eye test there they'll get you to read off the wall, and squinting doesn't cut it. Also, it's just safer. If you need glasses to drive, you need glasses to ride. And don't forget your confidence. You got this. Tip number C. I don't know what tip number I'm up to, but let's just go with that, shall we? Arrive at least 20 minutes early to your check ride. 1, you're not going to be stressing out trying to make time on the roads and making silly, risky decisions on the road on your bike if you're early and you know you're going to make it in time. And 2, if you get there early, you get to congregate with the other learners. You get to conversate and be part of the community. You get to share stories about what you've learnt and possibly make some new friends. Also, you get to have a cup of tea, which, yes, tea is king. If you're a coffee drinker, that's cool too. You can have a coffee before you start. Once you get to the training center, they'll need you to fill out some forms with all your information and all that jazz. And all that jazz. All that fun stuff. And then you are ready to ride, my friend. Yeah. So your check ride will be broken up into 2 portions, semesters, intervals, parts. I don't know what other word to use here. It's broken up into 2 sections. Why am I like this? The first section will be on the range with your instructor. I mean, both are with your instructor, but you know. The first section will be on the range, and the second section will be a road ride. On the road again. Check on your roadcraft and give your feedback. So usually the instructor will let you do a few laps just to warm up and get a feel for everything. From where I went, we always started going to the right, just clockwise, but it could differ depending on where you go. Then your instructor will get you to do laps, checking your mirrors and braking before you come into a turn. On the range, you never really need to go past second gear, so you don't really need to gear up or down unless you're coming to a stop. Obviously, you'll have to gear down to the first gear. I'm so sorry, I have a cactus in my throat. Hold on a second. I think the cactus is gone now. He's left the building. All right. I call him George. George is now on holidays, so let's continue, shall we? Just remember to keep your eye on your instructor when you pass them. Why was that a question? I don't know. Keep your eye on your instructor when you pass them. Statement, full stop, period. Because they'll let you know what they want you to do next. But usually after each exercise, they will tell you to come and pull in next to their bike so they can then talk you through the next exercise and demonstrate it for you. So it's really foolproof, simple. You've done it before on your learner's test. It's honestly a hell of a lot easier on your check ride because they're less strict. Now, every check ride is different depending on where you go. But when I went for my check ride, after we did the mirrors and brake check before the corners, we then went into the emergency braking or the emergency stop. And that's the one where you have the line, you have to go at least 20 to 25 Ks per hour. And then once you cross that marked line that they say, you pop on the front and back brakes gradually. Don't just slam them, otherwise your ABS will like the thing goes. You won't get any points taken off for that, or I mean really there's no ranking system when you go for a check ride, but you won't get told off for it, but they will ask you not to rely on your ABS when you do the emergency brake. So it's a good time to practice the gradual squeeze of the front brakes, including your back brake also. After that, what we did was the wide and tight. So when you're going into a corner, you take it out wide at the beginning and then you finish tight. And then they'll get you to go past the tram tracks or railway tracks and they'll want to see a swerve from you over that, and literally just taking each corner wide and tight, wide and tight. After that, we practiced the slow ride. So that's when you start, and then once you cross a specific line, they'll want you to start slow riding. In first, revs high, back brake on, clutch engaged, like sort of fiddle around to find the sweet spot. And your aim here is to not stall the bike and not have to put your feet down on the ground. So you want to slow ride from point A to point B in less than 10 seconds. And a little tip for this one, which they will tell you on the day and also when you go for your learners, but still, just a reminder. A good way to stay steady is to keep your eyes up. Don't look down or in front of you, like right in front of you. Keep your chin up high and look straight ahead where you want to go. This one took me a little while to get because slow riding was not my forte. But that's exactly why your instructor's there, to help you out and to help you get better. After the slow ride, what we did was stopping in the box. For us, it was a yellow box or a yellow square that's painted on the asphalt. Asphalt? Painted on the road, on the range. On the road again.
On the road again.
I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Stop. Yeah, okay, so you need to stop in the square painted on the ground. So what they're looking for is for you to come to a stop and have your front wheel within that box. It's honestly easier than it sounds. It's not hard. It's just getting you to practice stopping at a particular point like you would at an intersection or at traffic lights. And then from the stop, they'll want you to put on your, it depends what your range is like. For us, it was left. They wanted us to make a left turn. So we had to put our indicator on. Head check, head check, head check, head check. I cannot stress enough. Head checks. Head checks. Head checks. Super important. That's what they want to see. So indicator on, head check, and turn left. It's a really tight left. They'll want you to stay within the lines when you turn left, just like you would at like a T intersection. They want to see that you can take a tight turn. Take a tight turn. I can't really remember anything else that we did on the range apart from that. After that, we went on a road ride. Woo! I love a good road ride. So with the road ride, it's sort of like what you did when you went for your L's. You'll have your instructor out in front and they will lead you out of the training center and where you're going to start the individual road rides. So you'll each take a turn leading the group, but your instructor will explain all of this when you go for your check ride. The instructor will be behind the person in front each time and they'll give you directions on where they want you to go. Don't stress. Unless I have a GPS, my directions are like I could end up in Timbuktu and not even know it. If you do go the wrong way, they're not gonna get angry at you or anything. They'll literally just beep their horn or pop their indicator on, and you just got to keep checking your mirrors to make sure what they're doing, and they'll let you know if you've missed a turn. There's always someone in the group that loses their way, so it is no big deal. It's not a directions test, it's a check ride, so it's fine. And same goes for when you're at the back of the pack. I don't know what to call, like, what is a group of motorcyclists? A group. I just answered my own question. When you're at the back of the group, if you get lost and your instructor can't see you anymore, they'll pull over until you can catch up. And if they don't see you within the next 10 minutes, the instructor will tell the rest of the group to stay where they are while they go and look for you. Don't keep riding around trying to find your group if you really are, like lost. Stay in one spot and your instructor will come and find you. But they will explain all of this on the day. Again, some places work a little bit differently, but at heart in Somerton, that's how we did it. While you're on the road doing your individual road rides, your instructor will be behind taking notes, watching if you're buffering for cars on the opposite side of the road, making sure that you're doing your head checks where necessary. So head checking at traffic lights before you go through the intersection when you take off, just in case there's any red light runners. Head checking when you're changing lanes. You can never do too many head checks. Making sure if you're turning, you're cancelling your indicator within adequate time. It sounded like I didn't speak English then. Did that make sense? Cancelling your indicator within adequate time. I don't know if that's what I said, but that's what I meant. Also, when you're turning, tight in and tight out, taking the wheel track closest to the corner, just stuff like that. And Your instructor will give you feedback on what you need to work on before you come back for your license assessment. And it's really good because it honestly gives you feedback on what you need to practice and what you can get better at. And I mean, who doesn't want to be a good rider? We can all be better. Never stop learning, ever, especially when it comes to riding. You want to be the best that you can be for yourself, but also for the other people out on the road too. So I thought I'd go through the motorcycle check ride record sheet with you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I'm an anxious person. I feel like I need to prepare. Okay, porky pig. I feel like to ease my anxiety, I need to be as prepared as possible and I need to know what's going on, and it just helps with my nerves. So if you're like me, take a seat. I am here to help you out. I was gonna say Uncle Jess is here to help you. Yep, Uncle Jess. All right, here we go. Here we go, kiddos. Motorcycle check ride record sheet. I don't know why that was hard to read, but it was. So here are the range activities. You're gonna start with a warm-up, like I mentioned before. They'll get you to do a couple of laps just to get a feel for it. Curves. Rides wide and tight without hitting tennis balls. So you know how they have the half tennis balls on the range? They'll want to see you going through those and not riding over them. Trust me, I rode over one of those by accident. They are super scary. You literally feel like your life is flashing before your eyes, especially in the wet. If you're lucky enough to do your check ride in the wet, like I was, it's even more scary. So just make sure that you don't hit them, okay? Changes path without hitting tennis balls. Changes path means that swerve over those, the tram tracks or the railway tracks. They want to see you swerve and change path. Braking from a point. So this is the emergency braking that they will want to see you do. Timing in 15-meter zone. So they time you as soon as you pass that line to when you stop. So how long it takes you to come to a full stop. Stopping distance. They'll literally measure those little white lines and see how short of a distance you can stop safely. Safely. I looked up my brakes on the learner's course and that was scary as hell. That was really scary. But again, it's totally okay. They're not mistakes, they're learning opportunities. Simulated road ride. They'll want to see you do a controlled stop, front tire contact, patch in box. So again, front, they'll want to see your front tire in the box, not like on the edge or sort of hanging over, clearly in the box. And the box is big enough, like it's not that hard. It took me a couple of goes and that's okay. You'll get a feel for it the more you do it. Sharp left turn. Tires stay within path. So again, that really tight left turn, it seems really tight on the range when you're looking at it, but it's literally just a left-hand right angle turn, as if you're at a T intersection. I really struggled with this one, gonna be honest. I ended up going for a one-on-one lesson that I booked after this check ride and before my assessment. If there's any particular things that you're really struggling with, you can definitely voice those concerns to your check ride instructor because they're there to help. And if you're still having struggles after that, definitely, I highly recommend booking a one-on-one. That was the best thing I did. It helped so much. And slow ride, 10 plus seconds over 15 meters. So if you want to practice this before your check ride, you can set out 15 meters in, I don't know, down your road or in an industrial area somewhere, and you need to get at least 10 seconds or more for your slow ride between both points. General, how general of them. Maintains good riding posture. So meaning like, you know, your legs aren't fanned out like a butterfly and your arms aren't like stiff and straight. Performs head check prior to moving off from stationary. Always, always, always head checks. Head check before you get on the bike. Head check before you take off. Head check before you turn. Like just, if in doubt, head check. Maintains engine, does not stall. So that means keeping your revs up high enough. Does not lugs or over rev. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Maintains balance, feet up while riding. So you don't want to be one of those people that's like puts both feet down and walks the bike when you're unsure of where your bike's going, or like if you can stop in time. You'll want to practice keeping your feet up when you're riding. And I mean, I don't know why I'm trying to explain this. It's self-explanatory. Maintains control, does not skid or fall / drop motorcycle. If you drop your motorbike during the check ride, I was told by my instructor that that's a instant no, come back another day, you're not ready. And I mean, that sort of makes sense. If you drop your motorbike during something like this, then you're probably not ready to go for your license assessment. And that's the whole reason why the check ride's there. It's no big deal. It just means that you just need more practice on the bike. And that's okay. Uses indicators when turning or merging. Gives way where required. So when you're doing your check ride, there's going to be 4 other people, I think, depending on where you go, 4 other people doing a check ride with you, and you're all going to be going around the same circuit. And some people will be doing like the slow ride, some people will be doing the emergency stop in different lanes, and you just need to be mindful of where everyone is when you're passing them, sort of thing. Follows directions, does not disregard instruction. So pretty much just listening to your instructor, that's pretty easy. And they'll either give you a complete or an incomplete. And if it's incomplete on the range, that's okay. You've got the feedback here and it will tell you what you need to work on. On-road activities. Observation, fail to look. So I got a head check into turn lane. So I was coming off the highway and I was turning left, but I didn't head check before I turned left. Head check into the turning lane. So I stress the importance of head checks. Speed, unsafe. So pretty much as long as you're not doing under 10 Ks or over the speed limit, you're all good. Progression, fail to progress. The way that my instructor explained it was failure to get any better with your riding. To be honest, I'm not completely sure what that means. Lateral position, unsafe in lane. So pretty much if you're in a double lane side of the road, you'll want to be closest to the line. So whichever wheel track that is, the middle line, the dotted line. And whenever there's a car coming up in the other lane, you'll want to buffer to the other side of the lane to give yourself like a space cushion, like a safety space cushion. Following distance, unsafe. So you need a 3-second gap minimum. A good way to measure how close you are to another vehicle in front is pick something on the side of the road and then count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And if you can't get to 3 seconds, then you're too close. So you need at least a 3-second gap. Controls, fail to use appropriately. That includes like indicator, horn, clutch, high beam, low beam. It's always good to know where your controls are without actually having to look at them. Road rule. Why is that hard to say? Road rule. Rule. Fail to apply. Pretty much just follow the damn road rules. Incomplete errors. Intersection / crossing. Disobey. Speeding. Evasive action. Intervention. Collision. Okay, so you really don't want any of those.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
And that is that. If you're a stress head like me, why not practice these in your spare time before you check ride? I did many times. Some of it I got on camera, some of it I did not. But in order to become a better rider, you definitely should practice. Thank you so much for watching. I honestly appreciate it. Also, thank you so much to all the new subscribers. I see you. I see your comments, and I really, really, really appreciate it. It does not go unseen. It warms my heart. So thank you so much for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!